UAB at UTSA. That's right, number 22 UTSA, in disastrously too far down the list because, they're undefeated and all. People always like to say, hey, what kind of conference are you in, huh? It's not a big boy conference. You can be undefeated. Pfft. Oh, that's cool. How many other undefeated teams are out there? Like 2, 3? All right, whatever. It's still hard to win football. Regardless,
yes.
These two teams are great defensive squads, and I really like the under here on 53.5. Even better, 53.5. I think the one thing I do worry about, and it's bitten me twice, in a good way and a bad way, for UAB this season, is that the turnovers, which they are prone to sometimes giving them up and getting them in bunches when they actually happen, could ruin my total there. It hurt me against Louisiana Tech, but it helped me against their game against Georgia. So, not being able to account for injuries or being able to account for turnovers, I think two really good defensive teams go at it, and it goes under 53.5 on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, I'm heading to the SEC. Florida at Mizzou. Florida is the 9.5-point favorite, excuse me, with a total here of 69.5. Raise your hand if you knew Florida and Mizzou had the same record. Color me surprised because I didn't. It's senior day at Furrow Field, and I'm expecting Coach Drink and the boys to bring it. This is the first time a Mizzou game has been featured on this show, and I am elated, to be honest. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The Gators are averaging 33.5 points per game. Mizzou is putting up 31.5. Florida is allowing an average of 27.4, while Mizzou is giving up 35.9. This total, by the way, feels really generous considering Florida has only exceeded this number of 69.5 twice this season, and the Tigers have reached it 4 times. And the total has gone under in 5 of the 6 games Missouri and Florida have faced each other. Does Vegas know something we don't hear? That doesn't make much sense to me. Florida is 3-7 against the spread this season and 1-5 in their last 6 games. Meanwhile, Mizzou is 2-8 against the spread and 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 at home. But I think that changes this weekend. Therefore, I will be taking Mizzou plus 9.5, Arky. You heard it here. Thank you very much. I'm staying the heck away from that total, though. But I'm, once again, breaking a commandment and taking my team at plus 9.5.
Something's not going to go well this weekend. That's all I'm saying. I'll say this.
MIZ.
If you are trusting Florida to cover any type of spread for you this season with your money, you are allergic to money, okay?
Oh.
You have to step away from the app right now. Do not do it. I don't care if they do cover this weekend. You are not allowed to trust Florida at all anymore this season, and you should have stopped trusting them after the Alabama game, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
I
agree.
If you're trusting Florida at this point, you are out of your mind.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Why I'm taking Mizzou. Where's your next hitter coming from?
My next hitter, college football, Oregon at Utah. Big-time matchup. This could be a preview of the Pac-12 championship as
Let's go.
The Utah Utes are 1 win away from clinching their division. Now, they could lose this game to Oregon and still win their division by winning next week, provided Arizona State doesn't win out, because they have the tiebreaker over Arizona State. Utah has been so good to the overs this season. They've won 6 straight. They're 8-2 on overs this year, which is kind of wild to think about. But the Oregon Ducks have, well, something we've talked about before with them. Something big to play for. They're getting 2.5 points on the road. And I think we got the wrong team favored here. I think Mario Cristobal, as a younger coach, probably loses this game. Has lost this game, let's be honest. But experience in losing those type of games with this much on the line, with a better team than he's had in the last 2 seasons, I think that helps him this season against Utah. If you look at the numbers, these two teams are ridiculously similar as far as how close they are. I need to read this real quick. They're separated by 3 yards as far as offense, 9 yards passing offense, 12 yards rushing, and half a point in scoring offense this season. Like, they're literally on top of each other as far as how good they've been offensively and defensively. It's similar. I think the wrong team favor here. I like Oregon, which is weird to say the number 3 team is going to get the plus money. Oregon wins the game, plus 138 is the money line over at FanDuel. I like the underdog to win outright.
Love it. I am headed to the Big 12. Iowa State 6-4 at OU 9-1. This is the big noon kickoff game. OU is the 3.5-point favorite with a total here of 60.5. Both of these teams are heading into Saturday following losses that includes OU finally being exposed by Baylor, who put an end to their perfect season. I think this will be some good Big 12 football, and I think that OU is just shooketh enough to let this thing get really close. Despite that, OU is still putting up an average of 40. That's 40 points per game. But Iowa State isn't too far behind them at 32.5. Both teams are 4-6 against the spread this season, and OU is also 4-6 against the spread when favored by 3.5 points or more. The Cyclones are 5-2 and hitting the over in their last 7 games, while the over is 4-2 in the Sooners' last 6. I changed my mind about this spread 3 different times, but I'm going to take OU minus 3.5, and that is my final answer. I think that loss to Baylor will light a fire under them because I know OU is a prideful school and they don't like losing. They don't take it well. I'm also going with the over for those 2 offense-happy teams of 60.5. There you have it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You don't like that?
Just it's hard to figure out Oklahoma right now.
I know.
When they're so quick to switch quarterbacks in a game when they're struggling. It's kind of hard to figure them out. So I'm going to lay off.
Iowa State's a decent team. They can easily go into Norman and take this one. So.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're coming off a loss to Texas Tech, but they're still good enough. Brock Purdy and company's still good enough to win that game. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Last but not least, our games to look out for. Arky, what are you looking out for this weekend?
Let's look at Louisiana at Liberty. That's right. The Flames, I guess now the Eagles, I guess, are 4.5-point favorites at home. And if you weren't paying attention to some of the Group of 5 / independent teams, you might miss out on the fact that there's a couple of really good ones, and these are 2 of them. Louisiana's going to the Sun Belt Championship game. This is obviously out of conference because Liberty's independent. It's going to be an interesting battle because Malik Willis and company for Liberty are dangerous offensively, averaging 35 points per game. Malik Willis, a very mobile quarterback, gives you a lot of athleticism, and it is used very wisely by Hugh Freeze. Louisiana is a top 20 defense. They have been really good at shutting down just about everybody this season, but Liberty's a top 20 defense too. So believe it or not, we are looking at a phenomenal Group of 5 outside the top of the slate kind of looking game when it comes to Liberty and Louisiana. And I'm going to go under 53.5 in that game. I do like both of them to slug it out, but this one feels very, very, very much the under.
Okay. I'm looking at number 10, Wake Forest. They are, of course, 9-1 at Clemson, who are 7-2. Clemson, the home favorite here at minus 4.5 with a total of 57.5. Both of these teams are 4-1 in their last 5, with Clemson looking to pick up their 4th straight win. These quarterback numbers between these 2 teams are not even close. Ukulele's numbers aren't even close to that of Sam Hartman's. He has 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, where Hartman has over 3,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 8 turnovers. Arky, did I say that right, by the way?
Yeah, you're close.
Okay. Wake is 6-4 against the spread this season. Their totals have exceeded the total of 57.5 in 6 of their 10 games. Clemson has just won 2 games against the spread this season, while none of Clemson's games have gone over this total once this season. Wake Forest has 1 loss this season, and it came at the hands of UNC by 3 points, while Clemson's 3 losses were to Georgia, NC State, and in OT and Pittsburgh. I'm going to make this one short and sweet. I'm feeling Wake Forest in this at plus 4.5, and I would lean the under of 57.5. This is not the Clemson team we've seen in years past, and I know it's at Death Valley, but I'm riding Wake as the dog.
Yeah, it's a really elite offense for Wake Forest this season. Sam Hartman's been nuts this entire season, and I think he's only just a sophomore. Clemson's defense is what's really sort of held them this season because their offense has been putrid compared, not even overall, but just compared to what we're used to seeing from the Tigers. So Wake Forest might be a live dog to win that one. That's not a bad pick.